Okay. Okay. Today we are going to see about again recipes, but this time it is like advanced concepts we are going to see. We just used a one-to-one join yesterday, and we have joined this, right? Okay. But now what we can do is we can create an aggregator, and we can create a transformations, and we'll try to create more complex data set. Okay. Complex in the sense like it is related to, we are going to use more transformations, right? We'll come to know everything. Okay, now also we can take opportunity. Okay. mm, I think this session has expired. Let me refresh.
அந்த ப்ராடக்ட் என்ன ரேட்
Actually, the persons who don't have questions, right, please, you can mute yourself. Okay. Mm, and so yeah, like I said, like how to create a recipe. Now in the recipe, I'm just going to add an input transformation opportunity, but which is there already, but we will do it from the beginning. Okay. So see here we have three items. Like I think I forgot to explain about this yesterday. See, you can see CRM analytics data sets, you can see external connected objects, and there is a Salesforce object, right? For this project, mostly we will be taking from the Salesforce object. Why? Because the Salesforce object will have the data which has been created already by the system or CRM application, which we can use. Okay, so that's why I'm using selecting the Salesforce object instead of selecting the CRM analytics datasets. CRM analytics datasets are the one which we have created already, so that if we want to use that, that also can be used. Okay, but as of now, I'm selecting the Salesforce object. Okay, this says SFDC local, right? It means that we are fetching it from our local org. Okay, so there is 45 columns which has been selected already. So I'm clicking on yes. Okay, and now I'm going to select the opportunity. Okay, and here when you click on this plus button, you can see transform, you can see filter, you can see aggregate, and there is a discovery predict, and there is a join, and there is an append, and there is an update. Okay, what are all these operations perform, right? Let me explain each one by one. Transform transform node has an option, right? We can do like any functions, like whatever functions or any calculations, or if you want to write any case statements, right? Or any function formulas, if you want to use, we can uh, do it by using this transform operation. Okay, and filter. Okay, we have extracted the data opportunity. Suppose if you think our record is having billions of records in our table, right? We might be having more number of records in our object. Okay, since it is a trial log, we are not seeing it. But whenever you go to the project, right, you will be seeing more number of projects, more number of business which is running on that particular org. So you'll be having more number of records. So during that time, we can filter the transformation. It means that we can filter on a particular year, or for a particular country, or for a particular region. Okay, so based on the selection of the region and the country, we can get the results. Okay, like whichever data we need, we can filter that particular data and get the results out of it. Okay, aggregate, as an aggregate transformation is another thing where we can do some count and aggregate our records. Suppose if we are having millions of records, right? If we have a 10 million record, okay, by using the aggregation, we can get only the we can take only the required records, and based out of it, we can minimize the rows. And the main use of creating the aggregation is like it will be very fast. Our transformations and our output nodes, our data set runs very fast, and ideally it has low number of rows compared to the a normal data set, right? Because since we are aggregating it, okay. And if you see discovery predict, it is actually there is one concept called discovery where it is fully built of AI tools where we can use the already predicted outcomes in our results and create the data set. For that, discovery predict has been used. And there is a join we have already seen here, right? To join two different objects, we can use join. And append, like if we are having a two different data set which has been extracted from a different data source. For example, one is extracted from SAP and another one is extracted from Azure, right? Both is having same number of columns and same type of columns, then we can use the append. Okay. And update transformation, some records which you are going to be updated in future, right? That is coming as null, but at some point you will get a data for it. Then for that a particular column, we can use an update transformation. Okay. And let us start with the transform. Okay. So I'm just clicking on the transform here. So here there is an option, right? There are many options here. If you see, there is a function. There are some functions here. Here, if you click here, we can create a custom formula by ourselves. Okay, when you click on custom formula, you can see there is lot of functions which is available. There is a string functions, and there is a numeric function, and there is a date and time function, and there is a multi-value function, and there is some additional functions which is case and collage function. Okay, all these functions are available inside this. Okay, to transform our data, whichever is required, we can use those number of functions to create this formula. Okay, so for example, now I'm having a column here called name, right? But my user, right, my user or a customer or a client who needs this to be seen in a uppercase. So okay, so how to do it? Okay, there are multiple ways we can do it, but I will show you one way, like how to create an uppercase for this. Okay, so just click on the name. Okay, and see there is an option for uppercase here. Just click here. Okay, and where you want to show the result, I need to show this in a original column, or I can create a like new column and keep the original. Okay, so this will be the common label name which we need to give. Okay, so name. Okay, what is this name? Is like opportunity name, right? We can give this as opportunity name. We can mention this as opportunity name, and there is an API name also. API name is most important for this. Okay, because it will be referred over everywhere, even in the dashboard it will be referred. Okay, so this also need to be changed. So this also I'm changing it to opportunity name. Okay, and if you see, there is an output type called text. Okay. Okay, there is an type called text, and this length is the maximum length, which is 255. Okay, suppose if you want to change that, that also is possible, but we need to fetch the particular column to change the length. Okay, but sorry, to change the type of the column. And just clicking on the apply, what happens? See, we have a name column already, right? It will be there, but at the end of the transformation, you could see the new column which you created, but it is transformed to an uppercase column. Okay, this is one example where where we can change it to uppercase. Okay, and there is one thing which we can change to text to number. For example, text to number and text to date. Okay, so why this transformation is used? For example, in real time, whenever you are extracting date from Salesforce, right? It is always be in a text column here. You can see this, right? It will be always measured as a text column. Okay, if you click on the date column here, it will be text column. Okay, so or a date column. Okay, sometimes it can be a text column also. During that time, what we can do is by using that particular transformation, we can change the text to a date column or text to a number column. For example, here, but here everything is every column which is mentioned here is having a proper uh what to say, it's having a proper values. Like for example, if you want to measure it as a number, then it is measured as a number. Okay, so here fiscal quarter, right? Fiscal quarter, instead of having it as a number, we can have this as a text, right? So number to text. So what is a number column, and what is the other what is the whether we want to change it in a original column, or we can create a new column. Okay, when we create a new column, it is always good to drop the old column. Okay, because unnecessarily we don't want to create multiple columns here, because creating more number of columns will have an impact in the performance, and it is not a very good practice too. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, now we have a original column, right? I'm just changing it to new column, but keeping the original. Why? Because our data is very low here. Even though it is not a best practice, I'm just keeping it, right? So see, this is the one I changed to text. Likewise, um, there are more number of functions here. Okay, like substring, format, dates, buckets, flatten, drop column, and all those things are there. So let us go through few other examples, okay? Like some basic examples, like lowercase is not required. Likewise, we have a split, okay? A split column. For example, is there any address field in your table? And is there any hyphen or a backslash mentioned to define that, right? We can split that during the, okay? So we can take some address information table, and from that I will try to explain what is split, what can split do. Okay, so for example, I think we have some
Anand,
stage names. Yeah,
Can you explain that you changed it from text to numbers? So what did it exactly change? I didn't get it.
yeah, when you are changing to text to number, sorry, number to text, there we had a number, right? Number field, I try to change it as a text field. You can see this is a just a quarter values, right? Quarter values, we should have it as a dimension, but instead we should not have it as a measure. Correct? For example, we don't want to sum 4 3 1 2 and give the results anywhere, right? Just we need to
Mhm.
show what was the results for the fourth quarter as per the dimension. Getting it? Mm,
No, still confused. Like earlier, also the column was this 431,
mm.
all these
Yeah, there is a column already
numbers.
which is
So like,
having. Hello. Yeah, there is a column already which we have 4 3 1 3 2, right? This is all quarter values. For example, this mentions it is a fourth quarter, and this is a third quarter, and this is a first quarter, and this is a second quarter, right? This falls under second quarter, right?
mhm,
Right. So what I'm telling is, keeping this as a number column is does not work for us, right?
okay.
So
But
we
when we
can.
add the new column, it's again the same thing. Like nothing changed. I'm not
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, nothing changed, but I will explain you then why we have changed it. Okay. You can,
Yeah.
yeah, while seeing it in a data set, you can understand it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this year column also, now I don't want it as a number. I'm just changing to number to text. Okay. Just
So
keep.
to give more clarity about your question, if you take that example, physical year, right? It's the only number. When only number field comes, basically, we can aggregate the numbers, right? That means if you have 1, 2, 3, you can sum that and you can show that as an 1, 2, 3 means just 6, right? It will aggregate and show it as a 6.
Mhm.
So you should restrict that number. It should not be aggregate. That is called dimension. Okay.
Okay,
So
let me explain
dimension
you
means
1 minute. I'm just creating a simple data set now. I will explain you. Okay.
Yeah.
so only numbers you can sum and do everything. But if it is a text value, right, you cannot sum it. That's what the basic thumb rule. So here
Okay,
always
just
should be a text
just I'm
value.
just I'm creating this data set. Okay, just to show you like what this new columns can do. Okay, which the whole columns cannot do, but this can do. Okay. Mm. Let it run. Mm. So while it is running, we can see other transformations also. Okay. Now what we did is three transformations which we have done already. One we have changed it to uppercase. Another one we have changed it to text. And another one I have again changed it to text. Okay. So these are the three things I have done, and I have a format date option. What it can do. Okay. We can see about format date. Okay. This we might use it in our project most often, and you need to go to any particular date field. Okay. So I'm going to the creator date. Okay. First, we can create a custom form now. Okay. Otherwise, if you would like to extract this date as a year, for example, if you want only the year from the creator date column, and you need to create a new year column, right? So what you can do, just click on the format dates. Okay, there you can extract year. Okay, and you can create a new column and keep the original, and you can change it to create a date here. Okay, instead of extract here also, again you can say yeah. So sometimes in your project, right, you might need the year field from the created date where you are having the date function, but we need to create a new year field. Okay, that is based on any particular date. It can be any particular date, but how you will convert is using this particular function extract. Okay, whenever you go to any of the date field, you can get this extract option. By using this extract option, we can extract the year. Okay, year, month. There are few options which we can extract. I will show you what are the things we can extract is year, quarter, month, and a week, and second, minute, hours, and day epoch, second epoch, fiscal year, fiscal quarter, fiscal month, and fiscal week. All these things we can extract it from the date. Okay, by just clicking on this extract function without using much coding, right? We can directly extract it and show it. Okay, that is one function of the extract. Okay, so whatever functions you have done, all these will be added it as a step. Actually, this is a step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, and step 4. Okay. Okay, let us see. This has been run. Now let me explain why I created one more column for a dimension. Okay, so let us open this data set opportunity. I think there is no session. See, now there is a count of rows. Okay, but now when I see, I'm getting year here, right? Fiscal year, fiscal quarter, everything which I'm getting here. But this is ideally wrong, where I can do only the sum count of it. Okay, but I should not do like that normally. The year should come like this for me. Okay, the year column should always See, fiscal year to text, right? It should be like this. I need to display the year, and I need to display what is the count and what is the amount for the particular year, right? So it should display like this, right? Instead displaying in a different format. Suppose if you are keeping only the year field which has been extracted by us previously from the system, what it will do is, see, suppose I'm taking this fiscal year, but it will do a sum. See, this fiscal year is doing the sum of the entire year, right? Which is ideally wrong. Are you getting it or able to follow it? Why we are extracting it as a dimension instead of number?
Yes, Samant.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is why we are extracting it as a, instead of measure, we are extracting it as a dimension to show it in our reports. Okay, so that's why I was changing it there. But there are more number of purposes, like whichever we do, right? All these transformation has its own purpose and it has its own unique identity why it has been used. Okay, so let us create it one by one so that I can show you at once why we have done that, right? So it will be easy for us to understand. And we have a trim function now. So let me explain what trim function can do. Okay, trim function is, suppose if we are having some extra white spaces at the beginning of the any column or end of the any column. Okay, what this string function can do is it can it can remove the leading and trailing white spaces if there is any white space in between, right, in the beginning or at the end, which is not required for any data. So this comes under data cleansing activity. What happens is it will use the trim function and it will reduce the space between any of this. Okay, this will happen during if someone is entering the address fields in our system, right? They might use many spaces, and because of that, we will be not able to identify the addresses right clearly, and our data won't be clear. So to identify and to get the accurate data, we might use the trim function. Okay, and one more thing is we have a replace function. Okay, so that also we can use here. Why we use replaces? See, again, it can be done using one click. Okay, so replace, what it need to be find. We see here we are able to find backslash, right? Okay, instead of using that backslash, I wanted to use normal hyphen because my business is usually identify values by using the hyphen instead of using the backslash. Okay, so where I need to change it in the original column. Okay, so wherever we have slash, it will be now replaced with the hyphen. See, previously we were having slash, but it is now replaced. The same column is now replaced with the hyphen. Okay, you can see this, right? But why we are doing it is these are all some basic example, but instead replace can be used for many purposes. Suppose if you are able to if you are using this existing business, okay, instead of existing business, you need to change that to a previous business or like previous owner, or if you want to rename it to any particular field, right? That all those values can be done through this replace function. Okay, but why are all these important is because these are all the small things we'll be using whenever we are creating the recipe. Okay, because this is called as a data cleansing. Okay, and we have an edit attribute column. What it does is we can rename the field. Okay, see, now we have opportunity ID. Okay, so instead of ID, I need to call it as value. Okay, and there is an API name. If you change the API name, okay, then the values here also will be changed accordingly. Instead of ID, I just changed the API name to opportunity value. So everything has been changed now. So like if you want to change any field label or field API name, then what is the function we will use is the edit attribute function we will use. Okay, and there are many other functions like flatten. drop columns. Okay, if we don't want, we can drop those columns and deduct sentiment and predict missing values, time series forecasting and cluster. Okay, what is time series forecasting, right? So this is itself and separate concept. Okay, suppose you would have listened about forecasting in your project whenever you have worked, or anywhere you could have listened what is forecasting, right? Forecasting is, it will forecast the current year's data based on our current year's data till the current month data, till what is our sales till 902, what is our sales, right? But if you want to predict the entire year, okay, like what would be my sales if I'm doing the same kind of business, what would be my sales, right? If I do the same business for the entire year, how much is the business which I can get? Okay, that can be done through this. Let me explain through the Excel. Okay, mm, let me open on Excel. So what this forecasting does is, for example, any kind of sales project, if you're working, you might always deal with budget, sales, actual sales, net sales, and forecasting. Okay, this is most important concept you will be seeing whenever you are entering any project. Okay, so let me explain about this is my actual sales. Okay. Mm, this is my opportunity name. Okay. See, like I'm having a opportunity called Pepsi. It means uh, I'm working for the Pepsi account where it has been sold the project to it has kept its vendor mission in Infosys. Okay. It means it's a separate account. This Pepsi company has an account in Infosys, and it is supplying Pepsi to Infosys. It means it has a vendor mission in Infosys campus, like wherever whoever the person needs, they can go and grab that by paying the money. Okay. Likewise, uh, Pepsi, which has an any mall, right? Any mall, it can keep the vending machine. And likewise, there are some other accounts. Okay, Pepsi's account can be kept it in malls. Then it can be seen under the metro station. Okay, and otherwise it can be, again it can be seen under any public places, like where there are many people out there, right? Like those places it can be kept. Okay, like any bus station or something. Okay, so this is just an example, don't take it as seriously. Okay, so what would be the sales, right? I would say it is this is called an actual sales, right? Which has been, they have sold like around 20,000. Okay, and likewise it has been sold for many places. Okay. Maybe around 50, 60 or 70. This is my actual sales. Okay. And what would be my net sales is, suppose if there is any cost to it, right? And it is if you want to reduce the cost, and my net sales will be like, if I'm selling, if I'm spending something on that, without that my actual value will be my net sales. Okay, suppose this is my net sales, and I want to predict the sales for the entire year. Okay, predict the sales. Okay, it means this has been predicted for the year 2023. Okay, 2023, and month is suppose April, May, or June. Okay, and for the whole year, if I want to predict the sales, okay, so my predicted sales will change, because it will now predict the entire sales for 2023. It means for first 2 months, what is the data which I got, and out of which how much data I will get at the end. This is called the predicted sales. Okay, this predicted sales we will not get from anywhere for any column, but this can be done through using the time series forecasting. Okay, so like we can see that how we can do that. Okay, just I'm clicking on time series forecasting now, and which column I need to forecast. Okay, I am selecting the amount now, and I am taking the creator date. Okay, based on creator date, how I wanted to predict. Okay, year, month, based on year and month, date for time series. Okay, which date I need to use? Creator date. This will be year, month. Okay, I'm just clicking on apply. Okay, what happened is we are not having the actual data which we are trying to predict out of it. Okay, but it has, so it was not able to generate any of the predicted outcome out of it. But once we do this, right, you can see many fields which has been created in our columns has been not there. Why? Because it is in some aggregation function which we are trying to create inside the transform operation. So whenever we are creating aggregates, what happens is it will be able to keep only the columns which we are using in the group bys, right? What are the columns which we are keeping in the group by? Only for those it will be able to predict the values also. Okay, so we will take one better example. Just now understand what is time series forecasting. Okay, we'll have some better data so that I can explain you clearly about time series forecasting. Okay. And what is flattened transformation, right? This is more important when we are dealing with security predicates. It means the row level security. We need this flattened transformation to do it. Okay, and predict missing values. This is nothing but if there is any missing values in the columns, it will automatically predict the values based on the available values. Okay. Mm, we need to just select the predictive column, which column we are trying to predict. For example, it is a forecast product. Okay, category. Then we need to select up to 3 predictive columns. Like based on the 3 columns, it will predict actually. Okay. If there is any missing values in our data, right, what it will do, so based on the 3 columns which we have provided, it will predict the value and provide us the results for us. Okay, if there is any missing values, then it will be predicting it. Okay, and there is one thing called cluster which is newly added in this particular release. We can see about the cluster, then detect sentiment. Sentiment is like based on our data, it will be able to give us the like what is the value is, like how I'm going to see my values, right? This will be shown it as a smileys. Okay, that is why we are using this sentiment analysis. Okay. This is from the Einstein. So output of the economic data sets. Okay, let us see what it does. Okay, it's an see. mm, it's giving the it's checking the values and it giving whether negative, neutral, or positive, right? It's based on it predict our data, and based on our data, it is giving us the result. Okay, so what are the columns it takes into consideration? It takes maximum all the columns, and based out of this all the columns, it gives us the sentiment values for us. Okay, and flatten, yeah, like I said, flatten is mainly used for the security predicate. Okay, while taking the session about row level implementation and securities, we have a separate session for securities. While taking the session about securities, I will be explaining about flattened transformation, because this is the main transformation which we use for hierarchical level security predicate implementation. Okay. And we have seen already about edit attributes. Drop columns is nothing but we are going to drop the column from this data set, and detect sentiment. We have seen predict missing values, time series forecasting, and cluster. Okay. Cluster is the newly added functionality here. So what cluster can do? Okay. Cluster is like it can ideally get the distinct cluster values. Okay. Distinct cluster values based on the data which we are providing. Okay. Deduct optimal cluster count. Okay. Like we need to take the measure columns. Okay. And we need to check what is the cluster we can form out of it. Okay. So if you want, we can select all, but as of now, I have selected 3. Okay. Cluster by the name, which it means is we are trying to find out any similarities between the data, between the fields which we are selecting. Okay. Yeah, I think normally it will take some time to generate the cluster information. Let us wait. Okay. So other than this, okay, like we have seen what are the things which are available here. But initially, while starting of the session, I have shown you the function, right? Like there are some functions which we can use. Okay, so how to use those functions, right? All those things we will see tomorrow. Like each and every function one by one. We need to look at each and every function one by one. So actually, after the today's session, you would be able to work with all these transformations, right? Like just try to work on all these things, because these are all the things you need to handle day by day activity in your day-to-day activity. Suppose if you want to clean up the data set, or if you want to create a new recipe, you should know what each transformation will do and what are the transformation we can use for uh, our data sets to transform the recipe. Okay. So this is one thing, and another thing which I'm talking about is this one, the custom formula. Okay, this has many things inbuilt. Okay, there are many functions in it. Okay, you can see there are many functions we are already available for it, and there is a multi-row formula also. This is also having some functions. Okay, I need to explain about first what is multi-row, and we can deep dive into all these values, like all these things. Okay, so there are many functions which we can use. I will explain. We can go through one by one. Okay, what are the function and what it can do. Okay. Yeah. Let me know if there are any questions on today's session, please. Let me save this first. Okay. Do you have any questions for today? Hello, anyone of you? Okay.
Yeah, no, Anand. Yeah.
No,
Okay. Okay. Okay, then it is fine if it is clear. Okay, so what I will do, I will share the today recordings also. But I think one person like Suganya, you are having some doubt, right, on your recipe creation?
Yes, Anand.
Yeah. Can you
That
share
was
your
was not able to get the output. I don't know where I did wrong.
Okay. So can you share your screen like we can solve? Okay, let me stop the recording of today's session. Okay.